But Bisu did take his protected mineral expansion thingy that he has now officially taken. And now we see Hyuck getting the lurkers out. These were a bit late considering this is earlier on in the build. You usually would get lurkers out a bit earlier, and now what we're seeing Zergs do is turtle up and just push out with hive tech, and then the Protoss can't really do anything. But this is kind of the noob version of Neo Soren where Hyuck pioneers it and then Jaehyung takes the build and says, Hyuck, you're bad, we are making this build good. And then it becomes the most popular build in CVP. And then everybody's happy. But now Hyuck has this decent sized force, kind of this matrix of defense outside all four of his bases with lurkers and lings. Not too many hydralisks, but I'm assuming he's going to morph most of those into lurkers in the future times, and then he'll have this really good unit composition of lurker, ling, ultra stuff in the late game. And now Hyuck is still kind of worrying about this temple thing, but I want to look back at Bisu's army. He has this really strong unit composition, more than enough Templars. Actually, no, I lied. He could use a couple more Templars in my opinion, but whatever. Not too many goons, so that's good against the Cracklings. And now Hyuck is not taking this expansion. See how silly I am? I looked on the minimap and I saw an Overlord going down to the bottom left main thing. And now Bisu... Okay, somebody's expanding. I'm not that bad. Bisu is trying to secure his fourth base with this big Protoss ball. And Bisu pretty much has map control right now because Hyuck can't really push out with the lurkers because most of them will die to Dragoon shots or whatever Bisu decides to use against them. And beautiful Storm taking out more than enough Zerglings, but an Observer unfortunately getting sniped. And unfortunately for Hyuck, Bisu has more than enough Observers, and now Hyuck's Cracklings are just getting melted. Those are normal links, my bad.
Oh, that
French
was an odd
died.
way to end a speaking period. No, crack upgrade
Sorry.
has been completed. And I just realized this is Neo Medusa. I was just taking a look at the center of the map. This is Neo Medusa, which hasn't been around very long. So we're kind of dropping the ball as commentators. Yeah, this game's a lot more recent than Soul led me and all of you to believe. And Hyuk's coming in with, like, I gotta say, pretty inferior forces. Bisu's it's good Bisu has plenty of observers, so getting one sniped isn't going to make him retreat to the lurkers. And just with Archons and Dragoons, his storms weren't the best of storms, but they were definitely decent, proficient storms. And he's got so many. He's really goon heavy as it stands right now. And goons can micro against Zerglings, but they don't really do well against Zerglings and
Roche,
Hydras
I
at the
think we
same
just
time.
lost you.
And actually, a
Okay.
couple of Zerglings coming in from the back for Hyuk, but he kind of mistimed that flank and just not superior unit composition, but just Bisu with superior forces because they're even on bases, and Bisu's probably got a lot more probes, or they're about to be even on bases, and Bisu's definitely got a lot more probes because he's been producing probes almost constantly this entire game. Although looking at all his nexuses, they're all dark. Um, but he's going to be in great economic position because Hyuk's only on the same four bases, and Hyuk's got his hive tech and he's got his defiler mound up. He's upgrading consume and is going to have as many swarms as he wants. And now at that place that Soul thought Hyuk was expanding like a minute ago, he's actually going to expand just to make Soul right. Just Soul was right. He just was kind of off on the time. He was accidentally seeing ahead in time. So anyway, it looks like actually Bisu might sneak in the back way that he opened up so long ago.
Oh, so long ago. And now that useless storm, completely and utterly useless, only damaging a lurker egg, and the lurker proceeds to die in a very awesome looking manner. But Bisu is also taking his 9 o'clock and getting his army swarmed, but they were not the best of swarms, but at least they hold off the army of Bisu. So yeah, Bisu is taking this 9 o'clock that I'm rapidly clicking randomly. And Bisu has every advantage really this time. He's up on bases. I think he's pretty much equal in bases with Hyuck. I wanted to say out-expand, but that would be a lie. And you really don't want the Protoss to be equal expansions, or... Yeah, that's what I mean to say. And Bisu is just going to be able to keep pumping and pumping and pumping like he is right now out of one of his gateways. Two. Okay, just three. Okay, there we go. It's all good now. Now Bisu's gonna try and take out Hyuck's attempted expansion, and Hyuck is catching Bisu a little bit out of position, and Bisu's gonna have to run away, losing a fair amount of units there. I wasn't really looking, but because I was looking at this expansion dying, so I was looking at the right spot. So we're all happy right now. So now Bisu has out-expanded Hyuck. So he's just going to be able to keep pumping and pumping and pumping. And Hyuck's not really going to be able to do anything about it until he gets the Ultralisks out. Which, as I was highlighting with my mouse earlier, he does not have the gas to afford, which is kind of a weakness of the early Neo-Soren thing. And now Hyuck takes out Bisu's 9 o'clock. So I guess that kind of evened out right there. But Hyuck's still on even bases with Bisu. Bisu is going to mine out faster than Hyuck, but Hyuck's still at a massive disadvantage. It's almost a 100 psi difference. Almost pretty much 70 psi at this time. Almost 100. And I don't know if there's anything that Hyuck can do at this point. He's swarming his own Defiler against Zealots, so there's no doubt it's Hyuck.
Yeah, the only thing Hyuk really has going for him at this point is upgrades. He's got two carapace, two melee, and one spines, and he's going to have three carapace and three melee in just a little bit, or I'm sorry, three carapace and two spines, and then plus three melee will start after that, or we'll probably see 3/3 upgrade at the same time. And if he can be effective with this like low-costed crackling Hydra and with a few defilers mixed in, whoa, defiler just glitching out across the screen there. But Bisu's just got such a superior force because of his superior macro, and he's going to be mixing more and more Archons, more and more Reavers into this, and he's just going to have so many units that it's going to be really, really hard for Hyuk to deal with this. Hyuk throwing up two swarms, getting a lot of things stormed and not really dodging his Hydras or even his Defiler out from under that storm. A plague going off and actually catching most Dragoons, which does help him quite a bit. And it looks like Hyuk's going to be able to clean up this base, but it looks like actually Bisu's making a move for the 5 o'clock base, and he's gotten to it. Hyuk's a little slow on the counterattack, and there might be two magnificent storms on all these drones. Oh, the drones are running away. They're getting caught up. There's two High Templar, but no storms go off on them. And oh, that was tragic. Both of those, if you want to like go rewatch this replay, both of those High Templar had
Oh,
like
he just stormed all the
72
drones.
energy. He did just get like what was it, 6? But he could have gotten 15 if only he had like 5 more energy. Both of those High Templar were like 10 seconds away from a storm when they got there, which is a bit tragic, it has to be said. So BC is going to be mined out in his main base. Well, he already is pretty much. And Hyuk's got to get another base up. He's getting the 6 o'clock mineral only. That's off of the 7 o'clock main, but a mineral only really isn't what he needs. He needs a fourth gas really. Especially because his main base gas is going to be depleted in about 45 seconds, and that'll relegate him to only 2 1/4 gas, which he'll be lacking on the defilers, won't be able to produce many lurkers at all, and he'll have mostly hydras and lings with only a few defilers and lurkers to supplement it.
I'm going to say that Hyuk doesn't really need defilers so much as lurkers, because if you look at Bisu's army composition, he's pretty much maxed in probes and zealots. So what Hyuk really needs is lurkers, which he doesn't have as much as he'd like, but he built up a decent number when I wasn't looking at him, so that's all good. But he really doesn't have enough gas to replenish his lurker count as fast as he'd like when he loses them, or if Bisu decides to go mass Dragoons. And now, I wanted to mention this earlier, but I couldn't because I'm lazy and I was talking about something else. But Hyuk has destroyed the temple to the 6 o'clock base, and he's going to be able to go in here and
Oh,
defend this
8
6
kill
o'clock
DT
base.
at the 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Oh, I see it. 6 o'clock, whatever. And that is why he's going to take down that temple. I'm assuming that's why he did it, just to get in there. And now Bisu's going to try and break into this massive lurker wall. And he's not going to be able to do it with his unit composition, but I'm just saying that if he can get in here and deplenish all these lurkers, then